Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an Airbus pilot, and welcome back to the Flight Sim Labs Airbus A321neo. Today we're going to take it on its first route from Oslo to New York's John F. Kennedy Airport, which is a daily service operated by Scandinavian Airlines on the A321LR. Now, before we start today's flight, a quick message from today's sponsor, Say Intentions AI. If you're looking for an ATC add-on that can not only do your standard IFR A to B flight, but also things like data link, VFR, cabin crew, antivirus, okay, it can't do that. And if you like what you're going to see in today's video, then check them out using the link in the pinned comment or in the video description below. And with that out of the way, let's get straight into today's flight. We're sitting here in the flight deck of the A321. The engineers have already powered it up, but we can see that the fuel on board really is rather low. So let's get at least the refueling going quickly. You can see we still have 40 minutes to go to our scheduled departure time at 11:10, but refueling takes time for those long-haul flights. So let's start straight in our flight plan. We are departing Oslo, and it's more or less exactly a straight line across our Great Circle track. We'll cross the Faroe Islands, south of Iceland, south of Greenland, into Canada, and then we are going to fly more or less in a straight line to the arrival into New York. Looking into our airport weather, we do have some signets over here with thunderstorms with tops above level 450. But overall, the airport weather is very good everywhere. So Oslo, probably runway 01 in use. New York's JFK airport, we'll have to see what they're going to do over there. 28 degrees, lovely. And then Newark has very good weather conditions as well. When we go into the very top of our flight plan, we can see that an on-time departure is going to result in an arrival 25 minutes ahead of schedule, using cost index 21. We are planned in flight level 320, which is the reason why I'm not worried about crossing that North Atlantic track along our route, because nobody flies that low except for us. And later on, at the exit of the NAT, we're going to climb to flight level 340, so really easy going today. Looking into our fuel section, we need 22.2 plus 200 kilos taxi, so 22.4 as minimum. Flying 2000 below uses 300 more, but this one is probably going to be more important here. Flying cost index 100 is going to save us 12 minutes at the cost of 1,300 kilos of fuel. And including the contingency, I kind of want to have that on board, so let's round the fuel up from 22.4 to 23.5. That way we have sufficient fuel in case we are heavier and in case we need to fly a little bit faster. It is the inaugural flight after all, so we really don't want to be delayed on today's flight. Okay, so with that out of the way, let's get straight into setting up our flight. The engine master levers are off, the engine start selector is in norm, the weather radar, let's have a look, is properly turned off. Landing gear lever down, the wipers are off, and the batteries are on. External power is also on. Then let's go ahead and set up our RMPs. And actually what I'm going to do down here is just to go on like 118.0 for the time being, just because I don't want any of those aircraft on these frequencies to talk over us all the time. Might as well just turn the speaker down a little bit. I think this is going to be good. So let's go for the fire test. Why did we not hear anything? This is better. Okay, fire test is looking good, and then we can consider starting the APU. I'm not going to do it just yet because, well, it's okay in terms of the temperatures. Now, external power is connected, iris mode selectors, 1, 2, 3 into nav. Cockpit lights, I don't think we'll actually need any of these today. It will be a daylight flight, so let's turn those down. Okay, are set, and then let's go down into the FMS. Now, in order to operate the FMS, I will be using my brand new Windwing MCU. So if you are wondering why I'm not moving my mouse around and clicking things, then you now know why. Rest assured, I will talk about everything I do so that you guys can follow along and you can even see the knobs moving. So let's enter the ATSU, and then we're going to go into the AOC menu, onto the init page, and then we can just wait until the flight number has arrived, Scandinavian 923, and hit the init data request button. Now let's go into crew details and type in our crew codes. That's going to be 330 driver for me, and we'll have a co-pilot as well, whom we'll just call Kobe. And why did it not accept my... Here it is. Okay, so that's accepted for now, and with that we've got our uplink from Gardermoen to JFK. Fuel on board still has to come. Estimated time en route 7 hours and 50. That's quite good. Alright, so back to the AOC menu, and then we can go into the OFP data, and this is where we can order our fuel. So we said we wanted 23,500. We will refuel via GSX, taxi and trip fuel are okay. OFP revision is number 2, zero fuel weight is good, scheduled time of departure is good, and yeah, I think that's about all we need down here. So let's send that OFP data, and that way refueling is going to be ordered from GSX just now. So then we can go back and into the boarding tab, and let's go on to page number 2. First thing we'll need down here is catering, which we can request already. And now things will slowly take their time. At this point we'd also talk to our lead cabin crew, and we'd ask them at what time they would expect the boarding. So it's 10:35 now. We're supposed to go off block at 10 past, so if we board at, I don't know, 45 it should be good. So let's say 1045. Alright, and we can request that as well. This way boarding is automatically going to start at 10:45. That's a pretty neat feature, because we do exactly this in the real world all the time. We get on board the airplane, and then the first thing we're going to do is to send a boarding notification to the gate telling them when we do want to start boarding. Alright, so let's go right back over here, and then we can just grab our weather. Unfortunately it doesn't support the say intentions ATIS, so if I hit the ATIS button down here, you will notice that it is not going to provide us anything here. It just says no information available. But there is one more thing that we can do, and that is going down here onto the weather and ATIS page, because over here you can just request the METAR of any of those airports you are looking for. So let's go ahead and request that, and here we are. METAR Oslo Gardermoen 050811, slightly variable, cavalcade 21 degrees, QNH 1016. Set here and set here. Okay, cool. And what's that message down here? Slot notification, 11:23. That's an on-time slot, very good. Alright, I like that. So that should be about everything we need. The fuel page we'll get to later on. We've sent the OFP data, we've sent the boarding notification, and yeah, we don't need that yet. This stuff here is done. And boarding has been requested. Okay, beautiful. So that's everything we can do down here for the time being. Now, let's see, the caterers have just arrived, so catering should start in a moment. I like that. Refueling has also commenced. That's probably most important over here, and I really need it. Okay, then let's go into the EFB and start our EFB preparation. So first things first is going to be the briefing app, which we've already done. Then something I like in here as well is the ACARS app, so let's start that one up as well, because it can tell you all your ACARS uplinks, and you have full ACARS capabilities here. You can even write new messages, which is really, really cool. So that's everything up here. Now let's go for the preliminary takeoff data calculation. So we're departing Oslo, 1 left. Let's select Alpha 2 intersection. So 89.3, 24.3. Let's just see if that is halfway accurate. So 89.1. Well, we took a bit more fuel. Let's say 89. Actually 89. Okay, that's fine. Let's make it 89.5, well, tell you what, give me 90 tons. It's just preliminary data. So 90 tons and calculate on 1 left alpha 2. Okay, so we can go. Performance limited weight is 99, so structural max takeoff weight at 97 is going to be applicable, and that's a stop margin of 72 meters. Wonderful. So we know that we can depart like this. Alright, cool. So that is done. Charts. This is one very fine feature in here. You just hit import and pin. Look at that, it's automatically pinned everything you need. From the parking stands, over the airport chart, all the way to the SID chart. That's a really nice feature. Now let's go for the en route chart as well. This is done really nicely as well. Look at that. You've got the entire route plotted over here. You got the weather over there. You got SIGMATs over here. It's nice, isn't it? And look at that. You click on it, it even tells you when VATSIM ATC is online. Now, we are not using VATSIM, so I'm going to turn that one off, but it's a really cool feature. So let's bind that to the airport, or to the aircraft position. And, well, here we go. Zooming all the way down to the taxi chart. This is cool, isn't it? I think this is really, really cool. I like that. Also note how we can see other traffic on here, which is also a neat feature. Okay, so we can actually disable the other traffic though. I'm not aware of any real-world aircraft that would give you that capability to see other aircraft out there. Alright, so we're done with our EFB setup. Then let's go into our aircraft's technical acceptance. Oh, there's an ACAS message for us. Load sheet preliminary, edition number 2. Let's actually get that in full screen. So, zero fuel 66.1, and we're expecting 151 passengers on board. So, fuel and tanks 23.5, that's all looking good. So, reply and accept. I like this function. They've done this one here really, really well. Okay, then we just wanted to have a look into the tech log. Brand new aircraft, first flight, and they have already broken 2 items. So, forward galley cold water tap button missing, still works. And aft galley 48, knob 402A missing. Okay, that's both insignificant, so we can disregard this. Okay, so then let's go ahead and what can we do? We can cross-check our aircraft's technical state. So recall is good, A321LR. LEAP engines, automatic nav on go-around, reduced go-around is also installed on this airplane, and that's the important stuff. So, oxygen is good, hydraulic quantity is good, oil quantity is good. Can as well just leave the FADEX on, they're gonna power off automatically after a short while. Okay, so flaps are up, agree with the lever, spoilers retracted. I'm not going to test the brakes because there is a bug in this aircraft that it can disconnect the external power when you do. So we'll not do that. Okay, we'll just assume that the alternate brakes are working. Well then, that's the basic setup down here. So let's get into the pre-flight inspection. And before we do that, let's see, the lights are on. So let's go out for the walk-around. So, here we are, on our lovely A321. Those engines look cool, don't they? So, starting the standard walk around up here, and our AOA vanes are good, the static port is looking good. Let's have a look at the landing gear, and it's supposed to look like this? Probably. Okay, so everything down here is looking very good. Oh, little laggy over there. Parking brake light is illuminated, that's good. I'm pretty sure that thing can brake. It's one of those things that just keep braking all the time in the real world. So, the oxygen blower disc is looking good, Peter's good, tap probe is okay. Then let's move a little bit to the front. General overview of the airplane, looks pretty good. Something I like is that engine number 2 rotates quicker than engine number 1. That's because the wind is coming slightly from here, So the airframe is obstructing some of the wind from entering engine 1, while engine 2 is fully exposed to the wind. That's pretty cool, isn't it? Okay, so TAT probe is good, static port is good, oxygen blower disc is good, and the static port up here is good as well. Then moving along to the aft side, we have another couple of static ports to check, another vane up here, and then we can walk aft. So, fuel panel, refueling panel is open. Let's see what they put in. Nothing. It's too bad you can't operate this. That would be so nice. I mean, it's a nice idea that they're already opening this, but if they could animate that, that'd be superb. And I'm sure FS24 would allow that. Alright, so, checking the engine. When the fan blades are turning this quick, we can't really check them. But as mentioned in the previous videos, you gotta pay careful attention to that. Now, that's all looking good. Let's see. Yeah, that is going to take a while until refueling is complete. That is really going to take a while. There's something interesting. Look at this. Why don't they properly simulate the fueling panel up there as well? That'd be nice. So the green nav light is on. We can see the white X. Then let's move all the way to the aft. Engine is good. Landing gear is also good. Okay, I like it. So, looks like our cargo is coming. Good to see that they can do the cargo at the same time as the refueling, because otherwise that would really, and I mean really, waste a lot of time. Ouch, that's gonna be expensive. Next time you open that before you drive the vehicle up, please. Okay, so the outflow valve is looking good. Let's check the leading edges, and let's check the vertical and the horizontal stabilizer, making sure that all the static discharges are there. Nav light works. No signs of any tail strikes. I mean, it's a brand new aircraft, so can count the number of landings on one hand. That's a total number of 2, by the way. Okay, so then we can move back to the front, and over here we're gonna check the same things we already had on the other end side. So there's nothing special going on over here. Everything good, everything good. Pins are removed, that's gonna be important for the checklist later on. Trailing edges, looking good. Quick look into the engine, looking good as well. Okay, red nav light is illuminated. I gotta say it looks a little strange though. I mean, can do better than that. Alright, the white X is checked, and then let's move up to the front. So, engine is still looking good. Let's go down a little bit. No open latches, everything closed up here. Now, especially important to check the leading edges, but also have a look behind the fan to see if you can see anything from the compressor. Like down here. Again, we're looking for feathers, any kind of damages, anything that might stand out. Okay. So, I think our aircraft is in a good shape. Boarding has already started, that's excellent. So with that, let's get straight back into our cockpit. Yeah, looks like they didn't simulate the stairs, unfortunately. But anyway, here we are. So, boarding is ongoing, and then we can start our pre-flight procedures as well. So, crew supply on, ground control on, CVR test. The evacuation switch is on captain. ADRs are on. Up here everything's checked. Lights are on. Pumps or seatbelts remain off. Then let's check our batteries. Off and on again. And looking at the elec panel, both of them charging just fine. Okay. Fuel pumps remain off. Fire test. Looking good on engine number 1. And looking good on engine number 2. Up here everything is set. Let's ensure that the PAs are up over here so that they do get recorded. Alright. Then we can get back to the front. So ISIS is set. DCDUs not really needed. 21st of June 25. Runway condition is dry. And up here everything's set. Then let's get down into the radio panel. I'm not going to set any frequencies just yet, but let's go over to ATC. Standby, above, standby, 2000, altitude reporting on. Excellent. Okay, good. So weather radar, auto, tilt. Yeah, I'll tell you what, let's just keep that over here. Getting calibrated, weather and turbulence looking good. Down here everything's set, and over here everything's set as well. And with that we're getting right into our FMS. So let's get the SimBrief dispatch app. And then let's start our setup. So aircraft status, A321-200, nav database is up to date. We can delete any of those previously stored items. Okay, so init page. And as you can see, it's automatically uplinked all of this already. Now, this has happened because we have done our general flight initialization on the ATSU. So that one over here. When you do this, it automatically uplinks the flight plan. That's the case in the real world as well. So this is actually correct aircraft behavior here. Nonetheless, we still need to cross-check all of this. So we're going from Oslo to JFK, Halton at Newark, Scandinavian 923, Costinix 21, flight level 320. Then let's go over into the flight plan. Oslo, departure, 1 left, FTOC 5 Alpha, insert, arrival in JFK. For the time being, I think they planned 3-1. Yeah, 3-1 right. So ILS 3-1 right, and Parch 4 arrival, Canberra transition, insert. Now, let's go for the secondary, copy active, and we have Oslo X1 as emergency point based on ENGM 01 left /012 /25 miles, and we can just go for that, store, and look at how it correctly inserts this just below the departure airport. That is how this should work, which I tried to explain the competition for a longer time, and they wouldn't want to accept it. Okay, immediate return to Oslo, and we'll select 1 left since it's the longest runway, no star, no via. And now let's put the same into the fix info. So ENGM 01 left, 012, and Oslo X1. Lovely. Now we're going to do something that we cannot do on the other Airbus. That's data, next page, pilot route. We'll call this Oslo JFK, store. And now look at this. Over here we can cross-check the entire route. It's not completely bug-free, unfortunately, but I'll talk about that in a moment. So we're departing runway 01 left on the FTOC 5 Alpha departure. Thereafter direct to Ipton, direct 62.5 north 10 west, 62 north 20 west, 61 north 30 west, 59 north 40 west, 56 north 50 west, and Lomzi. November 662 Charlie to Tops, direct Kennebunk. And now we should of course have the arrival over here as well. I think the problem is it doesn't accept more than 1 page. In the way Flight Sim Labs have simulated this, the real one of course takes more than 1 page. But this way you can cross-check the entire flight plan. And in here, except for that bug when you have a route that is too long, it actually works pretty well. Now let's go back to the flight plan because there's more checks for us to do. And that's down here on the North Atlantic waypoint. So starting at Ipton, we cross-check the coordinates at the top over there. So 62 north, 0 degrees west. Now let's do the same for the 62.5 degree north, 10 degrees west. Then we got 62 degrees north, 20 west. 61 north, 30 west. 59 north, 40 west. 56 north, 50 west. And Lomzi, well, unfortunately they aren't as accurate with their coordinates on the other side of the pond as they are on this side, but that's fine. Okay, cool. So that stuff is entered. Next up, let's do the performance. And for this we got 0 fuel of 66. We don't know any CG yet. Fuel will be 23.5. And then let's see about our alternate fuel and stuff. So contingency is 1, alternate is 1.4, and final is 1. Taxi 0.2 is correct, the rest looks good, and that gives us 32 minutes of extra fuel. So now for the performance page. And in here we've got the config 2 takeoff at 44 degrees flex. So conf 2 and 44 degrees. And for the speeds, we still have 72 meters stop margin plus the TUS effect. So I'm going to use V1 max, so 67, 67, 67. Okay, acceleration, this is noise abatement procedure 1. Engine out acceleration, however, should be 1500, so I'll just put in 2000. We don't need to pre-select anything, and over here it's going to be ENGM01 left. Choosing 320, optimum 305, maximum 341. Now let's go back to the flight plan and just find a waypoint. Like this. Step altitudes 340 at, what's the waypoint called again? Lomzi. Okay, and insert. Alright, then let's go to the ATC com page. Connection, status, and we can see ADSC should be armed. Then, nothing over here, that's good. Okay, reports. Let's see, it looks like it does not have automatic position reports installed on this plane, that's excellent. And, well, that's about everything we can do down here. That menu should be a little bit more extensive in the real world, but okay. And last but not least, message record, no stored messages. Beautiful. So everything is checked, and with that our MCDU is done for the time being. So let's just set up our FCU. Initial will be 7000, but we'll be looking over the SID in a moment anyway. Okay, so let's cross-check our SID. And that's down here on the Oslo charts. Here we go. So, FTOC 5 Alpha, straight at Golf Mike 436. And that's a maximum of 230 knots. Then Golf Mike 437, Golf Mike 438. Then we're going to continue via 446. Left turn to 772, followed by 445. Which is also correct, and then last but not least we're going via 450 to FTOC, and we got 450 and then FTOC. So that is all looking good down here. Alright, so with that we're now pretty much done checking about everything. Okay, so now that we're done with this, let's go ahead and say hello to our passengers. Or actually, let's see what that message is. I guess it's going to be the final load sheet already. Yeah, that's the final load sheet with revisions. 143. Man, we're missing a lot of passengers. Okay. Well, we are going to handle the load sheet a little bit later. For now, let's say hello to our passengers. Now, here's a pretty cool feature, if you like stuff like this. If you open up the PAs down here and actually make one, just listen to this. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning from the flight deck. This is your captain speaking. Now when I release this... Ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning from the flight deck. This is your captain speaking. I kind of like how they put the defect over the PA. However, I am going to turn this off because, of course, we don't just want to hear our entire announcement twice. So it looks like refueling is still ongoing and might actually take a little while. I hope they're going to be ready on time, but for the time being, let's just say hello to our passengers. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon from the flight deck. This is your captain speaking. My name is Emmanuel. In the name of Scandinavian Airlines, welcome aboard our Airbus A321LR on our flight to New York's John F. Kennedy Airport. We are currently still refueling the aircraft, which is going to take a few more minutes. Until that is done, we do ask you to remain seated with your seatbelts unfastened so that our cabin crew is able to check your open seatbelts, please. Now, once our refueling is complete, we will start our engines and taxi out to runway 1 left for our departure. We do expect a smooth flight for the majority of our flight today and a flight time of 7 hours and 15 minutes. For the time being, please sit back, relax and make yourself comfortable, and we will get back to you with the latest information when we start our approach to New York. Thank you very much for your attention. Okay, so they are done. Then we can do our briefing. Alright, thank you very much. So we are going to depart Oslo, runway 01 left, and that's going to be via the FTOC 5 Alpha departure. The initial climb 7,000, MSA 3,900, and extra fuel and time, we've got 58 minutes, 2,500 kilograms. Alright, thank you for that. Now we are going to taxi out runway 1 left. We actually got no hotspots for our taxi routing today. Stop margin 72 meters plus TAS effect, and the rejected takeoff is going to be standard procedures. Very high weight though, 90 tons. So we are going to advise ATC immediately that we will need the fire services to check our brakes. In case we continue, the engine outset is straight ahead to the Oslo X1 point, pick up the holding over there in 4,000 feet, and then we can come back. Runway 1 left is the longest runway available. We are going to be overweight, so we will do the overweight landing procedure if it becomes required. And we can find that in the documents down here, and then into checklist and overweight landing. So here it is, just so that we have it ready in case we need it. If there is really no time available and we need to do an overweight landing, and that's really only if there is a fire that we cannot extinguish. But if that happens, then we are going to make a visual traffic pattern. The weather is more than good enough, as we can clearly see outside here. So come back, visual traffic pattern, and as long as there is no engine fire or APU fire, we're just going to start the APU, put on APU bleed, and that covers the most important points of the overweight landing procedure. Well, apart from that, I've got nothing special or non-standard. We do have a 230 knot restriction here, but I don't think that that's going to be an issue. I mean, our clean speed is 244 knots, but I think we are not going to be able to accelerate that fast by the time that we actually get there. Okay. No threats, and nothing else. Anything from your side? No? Beautiful. So that's our briefing completed. And now, let's do the cockpit preparation checklist, please. Gear pins and covers. Oh, actually we can't do that yet, because we are still refueling the aircraft. Well, in that case, let's... no, we can't do the not HLA guideline either, because we can't do the HF check yet. So yeah, I guess we are stuck for the time being. So let's fast forward a little bit until our refueling is actually complete. Alright, refueling is completed, and we are 6 minutes past our schedule. But that doesn't matter, we are just going to make up for that in flight. Okay, so let's go ahead and start up the APU, then we can also request our IFR clearance, and when all of that is done, we can go. So, ATSU, AOC menu, ATC request, and pre-departure clearance. So we're at gate 51, we are the SAS 923, and we have Aegis Bravo. And we'll just say hello. Okay, so Oslo to JFK, Scandinavian 923, gate 51, ATIS Bravo, A321neo, and recipient is Oslo. Sent. Now, while we're waiting for this, let's fill out the fuel report. You can see that it's automatically uplinked something by the figure 6 up there. So down to the fuel report, and it's 27099. We can sign that. That's liters. The density is 0.802. And now the most important figure that we look at is the fuel differential over here. So that's the difference.
Emmanuel, boarding has started and the first passengers are aboard the plane.
Yeah, thanks. So that's the difference between what
Ladies and
the
gentlemen,
airplane
welcome aboard
calculates
Scandinavian Airlines
and
Flight
what
923,
it
departing
actually
from
has on
Oslo
board.
to New York
So
City.
you can see that it
We're thrilled to have
calculates
you with us
with
today.
this volume and
Please
this
take your
density.
seats according to your boarding
We'd have
passes
23.2
and stow your
tons
hand
on
luggage
board.
in the overhead bins
However,
under the seats in front of you. If you need
it
any
can
assistance,
sense that
don't
it has
hesitate to reach out to our lovely
23.5,
crew members.
and therefore,
Lars,
here's the
Ingrid,
difference.
and Morten, who
That's
are
fine,
here to help
0.3
you.
is not much of a problem.
And just a little
Sent.
fun fact. On June 28th and 29th,
Okay, so with that
some
out of the
our
way,
Say Intentions cabin
let's
crew will be at the
see.
Flight Sim Expo in
Departure
Providence.
request status
So feel free to
processed,
chat
and
with
here's the
them.
PDC.
Thank you for choosing
Wilco.
Scandinavian Airlines.
And now let's check.
And let's
So,
get this journey started.
clear to JFK, FTOC 5 Alpha departure. Let's view that over here. One left, FTOC 5 Alpha, maintain 4000. That is rather low. So 4000 is set. Departure 1848, squawk 6352. Okay, expect runway 1 left. That's programmed. Very good. Okay, cool. So that stuff is done. Then we should do the HF test. Unfortunately, well, as you can see, no HF radio installed on here, which would be a no-go for an A321LR, since you need that for transatlantic flying. But, okay, we'll accept it for the time being. So then, cockpit preparation checklist, please. And that is gear pins and covers removed. Fuel quantity 23,480 kilograms. Balanced. Seatbelts on. ADRs. nav and baro ref QNH 1016. Cockpit preparation checklist complete. So let's do the NUT HLA guideline, please. Aircraft acceptance, ETOPS PDSC checked, RVSM equipment checked, clock in GPS mode checked, HF, yeah, checked, message log erased, ADSC armed, ATC auto position reports off, IRS full alignment performed, ground speed check 0, NUT HLA waypoints on OFP versus primary flap plan cross check, wind data entered, and that's complete down to oceanic entry. Okay, cool. So that's everything we had to do down here. And with that out of the way, let's go ahead and just handle the load sheet. Here it is, that's the final one. Revisions to number 2. So, zero fuel 65.5. And that's with a CG of 25.4. Alright, so we are down 500 kilograms. And we've got 143 versus 151. Yeah, so 500 kilos makes sense. Alright, entering that. And that's a takeoff weight of 88.8, which checks 143 passengers, accept. And then we've got CG at 23.7. So let's just head over into our performance. So 88.8. And this should be 23.5 as far as I remember. 23.7. So 23.7. Okay, runway 1 left, Alpha 2, that looks good, and calculate. So, flaps 2, 1.3 up, 46 degrees. So, flaps 2, 46 degrees, and slash up 1.3, like this, and the takeoff speeds are 67 each. 71 meter stop margin, which is okay for me, and takeoff data is checked, thank you very much. Alright, so far so good. Let's get our clearance frequency. So, delivery east 12193. Got him on delivery, Scandinavian 923, request startup.
Scandinavian 923, contact ground on 121.905 for startup request.
121.905, Scandinavian 923, thank you. Okay, so everything's done over here. Let's ensure that we are ready for pushback. APU is running. Okay, no PCA, no GPU, no chocks. Services, prepare for pushback and departure. Let's set no GPU. Thank you. Okay, cool. So everything's done up here, everything's done down here. The door is closed and locked. Alright, let's get our pushback clearance. Got him on ground, Scandinavian 923, request pushback and startup.
Scandinavian 9023, pushback and startup approved. Face east.
Pushback and startup approved, facing east, Scandinavian 923. Ground from flight deck. Please confirm all doors and hatches closed, ground equipment removed, and the bypass pin is installed. Okay, all confirmed, thanks, and we are clear to push facing east, park and brake set. Okay, release brakes. Park and brake released. Starting the push and standing by for engine start. Before start checklist, please. And that's park and brake. Released. Takeoff speed and thrust. V1 167, VR 167, V2 167, flex 46.
Via cell
Windows.
common aboard Scandinavian Airlines Flight 923,
Alright,
departing from
closed,
Oslo
and
to
the
New York
bacon
City.
is tasty.
On behalf
Before
of the
start
entire
checklist
crew, I
complete.
would like to introduce our captain, Emmanuel, and our first officer, Stephanie. Joining me in the cabin today are my wonderful
Okay,
colleagues,
wonderful.
Lars,
It took a little
Ingrid,
time,
and Morten.
but here we go. We are
thrilled
on
to
the
have you with
way.
us on this journey. Now, let's
13
go over
minutes
some
delayed,
important safety
but
information.
we'll be able to make that
First,
up in flight.
please ensure your seatbelt is fastened. To fasten your seatbelt, insert the metal fitting into the buckle until you hear a click. To release it, simply lift the buckle. In the unlikely event that we need to use the oxygen masks, they are located
So,
in the
ground from flight
compartment above you. If the
Can we
cabin
start the
loses
engines?
pressure, the masks
Yes,
will
clear
drop
to
down.
start.
Pull the mask towards you to start
Alright,
the flow
starting
of
1 and 2 in
oxygen.
that sequence.
Place it over your nose and
Engine
mouth
1 start.
and secure it with the elastic
Let's
band.
watch that from the outside.
Remember to put your own mask
And
on
just listen.
before assisting others. For our overwater flights, we have life vests located under your seats. To use them, pull the vest out, slip it over your head, and pull the straps to secure it. Inflate the vest by pulling the red tabs once you are outside the aircraft. In the event of an evacuation, please leave all luggage behind. Your safety is our priority. Now, regarding the emergency exits on this A320, there are 2 doors at the front, 2 overwing exits, and 1 door at the rear of the aircraft. Please take a moment to locate the nearest exit, which may be behind you. Thank you for your attention, and we hope you enjoy the flight. After our meal service, we will be offering items from the Scandinavian Airlines shop, so keep an eye out for that. Captain Emmanuel, the cabin is ready for departure.
So, that surely sounds like a good start. And indeed, the engine is available. Alright, park and brake set, starting engine 2. Clear 2. And this time we're going to check the engine startup here on the display. So the start valve is open. The starter, or the N2 turbine, is rotating. Oil pressure starts to build. N1 is rotating. Now we're waiting for fuel flow. It is motoring the engine a little bit, as you can see. And here we go. Fuel flow is coming. We have ignition. Therefore the EGT is rising. And that is excellent. So, very good engine start. The only thing that's a bug here is the avail light. That comes a little bit early. Should only come around about now when the engine is stabilized. Okay. So, 2 good engine starts. Clear to disconnect, show me the pin on the left, and have a good day. Bye-bye. And there he is, holding a pin. Wonderful. We can save a little bit of fuel here, turn that pack off. And trim should be up 1.3. That was a bit much. Something like this. Alright, good. So, clear signal is seen. Actually, we forgot to turn the transponder on. Let's do that now. Okay, after start checklist, please. So that's anti-ice, off, ecom status, checked, pitch trim. Let's see, that's 24% set. And rudder trim, neutral, after start checklist complete. Scandinavian 923, request taxi.
Scandinavian 9023, taxi to runway 1 left via Lima Orange Sierra Papa November Alpha 1.
Taxi to runway 01 left via Lima Orange Sierra Papa November Alpha 1, Scandinavian 9023. Okay, so let's quickly have a look at where that is. We are down here. We are on the orange line, then on to Sierra Papa November. And that's all the way down to Alpha 1. Okay, excellent. So, clear right side, clear left side. Lights are on, brake is off. We'll probably need a little bit of breakaway thrust here. We are very heavy after all. Very good. Brake check. Pressure 0. Okay, we're going to do the flight control check once we're on Sierra to the left over here. So my first priority is just to get away from the ramp. Beautiful scenery, by the way. Oslo from Jo Erlendsund / Aerosoft. One of the best airports available for the entire sim, really. Okay, right side is clear, left side is clear. So, even though we're flying transatlantic, this is not a wide body, so not as much oversteering. Okay, flight control track. Full up, full down, neutral.
Nordic 5-4 Zulu, ready for pushback.
Full right.
Nordic 5-4 Zulu, push and start
Full
approved.
left. Full right.
Pushback approved. Nordic
and
5-4 Zulu.
Neutral. Okay, so that is our initial flight control checks done. Then the cabin is not ready just yet, so I suppose since the taxi is going to take quite a while... Oh, here we go, that's probably the cabin. Hello, Emmanuel
Hello,
here.
it's Norman. That's the cabin secure for takeoff.
Thank you very much, Norman.
Thank you.
Okay, reset that. Right,
Ground
cool.
Nordic 57 Golf Whiskey, taxi to the ramp.
So, cabin is
Nordic
ready.
57 Golf Whiskey, taxi departing via Bravo 8 Sierra Victor, Alpha 6, cross runway 01 left, then Charlie 2 Charlie.
Yeah, bing.
Bravo 8, Sierra, Victor, Alpha 6, cross runway 01 left, then Charlie 2, Charlie, Nordic 57 Golf Whiskey.
Okay, so Papa is actually that first one here. That's interesting, those ground markings were a little bit confusing. Okay, so I have no changes to the takeoff briefing, however... So, pitch trim, MCDU, CG disagree, up 1.3. Yeah,
Nordic 5-4 Zulu, ready to taxi.
No, it should be right.
Nordic 5-4 Zulu, Taxi to runway 1 left
Okay,
via
traffic
Charlie.
again.
Charlie 2, cross runway 01 left.
Still getting
Then
it.
Alpha 6, Mike.
What is wrong?
1 left via Charlie. Charlie 2,
So,
cross runway 01
that's
left,
correct.
then Alpha 6,
The time
Mike
prediction
Nordic
on the other
54
end
Zulu.
is absolutely incorrect. But I think our trim is correct. I mean, up 1.3, we have up 1.3. Yeah, there's got to be a false alert. Let's clear it. One last check. Pass and balance. So 0 fuel CG 25.4 is correct, and then our takeoff CG is somewhere in that region as well. So we are absolutely in the fine region. There's everything all right. Not sure what's wrong with our flight warning computers here. Cancel that one. Thank you. Okay. So, with that out of the way, taxi checklist please. Flight controls, checked. Flaps, config 2. Radar and predictive wind shear, on and auto, engine start selector, norm, ECAM memo, takeoff, no blue, and that's the taxi checklist complete. And then I'd say we're just going to accelerate this a little bit to the holding point. And we're approaching the runway. You might have noticed the airplane, even at this weight, did still accelerate a little bit on idle thrust. That was quite amazing.
Scandinavian 9023, contact tower on 118.305, safe flight.
118305, Scandinavian 9023, bye bye. Got him on tower, Scandinavian 9023, ready for departure.
Scandinavian 9023, Oslo Tower, runway 01 left, hold short of the runway 20 and 4 mile final.
Hold short runway 01 left, Scandinavian 9023.
Scandinavian 9023, Oslo Tower, runway 01 left, wind 015 at 12, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 01 left, clear for takeoff, Scandinavian 9023. So, yeah, the final looks clear. Okay, let's go. Cabin crew, prepare for departure. Lineup checklist. So, takeoff runway, 01 left, full length. TCAS. Son TARA, and I don't know what that guy's doing, but he's high enough that we don't have to worry about him. And packs 1 and 2.
Approaching
Off.
01 left.
Okay, are you ready for a rolling takeoff? The plane over there is off the runway. Good.
On runway 01 left.
Takeoff. Manflex 46, SRS, runway, auto thrust blue. Thrust set. Knots, checked. V1 rotate.
Lufthansa 2 Lima uniform, contact ground on 121.905.
Enough. Check.
Switching to ground, Lufthansa 2 Lima uniform.
So, 15 degrees pitch works very well. First climb, climb auto thrust. Flaps 1. Speed check.
Scandinavian 9023, contact departure on 118.48.
118.48, Scandinavian 9023. Oslo departure, Scandinavian 9023, passing 2,400, climbing 4,000.
Scandinavian 9023, Oslo departure identified, climb 4000.
Climb 4,000, Scandinavian 9023. Full vertical speed 1,000. Speed vertical speed. So, passing 210 knots, and okay, here we go, flap 0. Speed checked, flap 0.
Scandinavian 9023, climb flight level 210.
Scandinavian 9023, climb flight level 210. First climb, climb to 1000 blue. It's interesting that there is no box around the speed mode. Okay. Autopilot 1. And that
Scandinavian 9023, contact Polaris control on 118.88.
118.88, Scandinavian 9023. Polaris control, Scandinavian 923, passing level 57, climbing 210.
Scandinavian 9023, Polaris control identified. Hey Oslo, QNH 1016.
QNH 1016, Scandinavian 9023. Okay, we're not really gonna need that because we're passing the transition level in a moment. Set standard. And standard is thrust check, passing level 73 now. Check. Okay, so let's see if we can get a nice little direct here to FTOC. Scandinavian 9023, any chance to proceed direct FTOC?
Scandinavian 9023, proceed direct to FTOG waypoint.
Thank you, direct to FTOC waypoint, Scandinavian 9023. Alright, direct to... and FTOC. Okay, insert. So, one straight line, that's how I like it. And then we're passing 10,000. So, lights off. Yeah, it should stay smooth, so... signs off, airports, and clear and copy.
Scandinavian 9023, climb flight level 280.
Dear guests,
Scandinavian 9023, climb flight level 280.
to inform you that the use of electronic devices is
Flight
now
level
allowed.
280 blue.
Feel free to connect to our onboard
Okay,
Wi-Fi
copy
service
the
as well.
secondary,
Hope you
and
enjoy your flight with
cruising
Scandinavian
320,
Airlines
optimum
Flight
305,
123.
maximum
And thank you for
344,
choosing
that's
to travel with
fine.
us today.
Alright, so just a couple of ETOPS points to program for us. So let's go data, next page, pilot waypoint, new point, ETOPS entry point 1. So, briefing. Let's see, here they are. That's going to be 60, 16.5. And 34.14.0. Store. Then we need an ETP between Keflavik and Gander. That's going to be at 5803.5 and 4337.7. And then we need an ETOPS exit point that we can insert as well. That's 5557.8. And and 50.05.9. Alright, and store that. So let's insert that on the fix info, ETOPS entry point 1. Then we got Keflavik and Gander. And finally we got the ETOPS exit point 1. So that's pretty good. Then for our Atsu, let's go into the weather request. So we
Scandinavian
need
9023, climb flight level 320.
Scandinavian 9023, climb flight level 320. So, flight level 320 blue. So we're going to take Keflavik, we are going
Scandinavian
to
9023, say again your altitude.
level 320, Scandinavian 9023. Okay, so Keflavik, Nuuk, Goose Bay, and well, actually Goose Bay is Romeo, isn't it? So Goose Bay and Gander. And let's request all of those. So weather has arrived. Keflavik is actually very good. Nuuk, very good as well. Goose is very good as well. And Gander is, well, a little bit windy, but from 230 at 15, that's not going to be a problem. Okay, so the weather is actually good everywhere. So, let's see, we're entering the knot at 12:33. So, let's see, what do we need then? We're entering via Bird, that means clearance 15 minutes before, which is at 12:18. And unfortunately it can't do time markers. I hope FS Labs is going to add that soon. Alright, but that's pretty much everything we've got for the time being, so let's just see. Atsu, AOC menu, ATC, oceanic clearance. And that's gonna go to Iceland. Flight number SAS923. Request flight level 320. Mach 0.7. Actually, let's see. ETA 1909. Okay, that's more than enough time. Can just update those winds as well. We have more than enough time, so we'll request 0.78. ETA 1233, and the entry point is Ipton. Okay, and max flight level 330. Okay, format for MCDU. So, Iceland Center, Scandinavian 923, level 320.78, entry via Ipton at 12:33, maximum level 330. Okay, format for MCDU, sent. Wonderful. So now it's going to be waiting. Let's wait and see. And since we can definitely wait with a little bit of nice music and some nice views, I tend to say that I see you all later when we start our approach into New York.
Scandinavian 923, afternoon, maintaining 15,000 feet.
Scandinavian 923, New York approach. Good afternoon, Kennedy, altimeter 30.12. Expect the ILS runway 22 right approach into Kennedy.
Expect the ILS runway 22 right approach. Scandinavian 923.
Could you request the ILS 22 left, please?
I can't request runway 22 left. The active runways are 13 right, 22 right, 13 left, and 22 left. We're already set for ILS 22 right.
Okay, then I will request it. My ATC.
We can't request a runway change. We're already set for ILS 22 right, which is active. Alright, Emmanuel, you're in charge of the comms now.
Scandinavian 923 requests ILS 22 left.
Scandinavian 923, expect the ILS runway 22 left approach.
Expecting the ILS 22 left, Scandinavian 923. See, and this is why you're a first officer and why I'm a captain. Okay, that was a mean one, but I had to give her something, right?
Haha, well, I'm here to back you up, Captain. Let me know if you need anything else.
Thank you. Okay, so let's see if I just gathered...
You're welcome, Emmanuel.
Let's see if I just gathered the profanity point here, but as you see, it works. You just gotta request that runway. Okay, so ILS approach 22 left it is. Let's go ahead and have a quick look into our weather. So we just requested that a few moments ago. And the weather for JFK is 210, 30 degrees, 3012.
Scandinavian 923, descend and maintain 7,000.
Descend and maintain 7,000, Scandinavian 923. Thrust idle, open descent, alt, 7,000 blue. So we'll not rush anything, but let's see, 35 miles to the FAF, it should be totally fine. Okay, good. So with all of that out of the way,
Scandinavian 923, descend and maintain 4,000, turn right heading 265 vectors for the ILS runway 22 left approach.
Descend and maintain 4,000, right heading 265 vectors, ILS 22 left, Scandinavian 923. Okay, heading and 4,000 blue. So extend the centerline from Rosalie, please. And let's see, 224 is the final approach course, then we're looking at 042. Radial in, and insert. No, you're not gonna go in enough mode. Heading. Alright, cool. So let's go ahead and brief the approach. So it's going to be an ILS approach, runway 22 left. Radar vectors, minimum 212 go around is, let's open it down here. So the go around is
Piedmont 5859, contact Boston Center on 124.525.
and then 190 inbound chance,
Switching to Boston
3000.
Center on 124.525, Piedmont 5859.
Okay, extra fuel and time, we have an hour left. Okay, thanks. So, we are going to fly a flight director guided ILS approach using config fuel. Maximum reverse to vacate the runway to the right hand side. Stop margin will be more than enough, and for our taxi in we got one hotspot, that's the crossing of runway 22 right.
Cathy 831, contact
Parking
Boston
is going
Center
to
on
be easy.
134.0.
Over to Boston Center on
Gonna be right down here.
134.0, Cathay 831.
So, international arrivals, I don't know, that terminal down here. So, most likely going to vacate Juliet, crossing, and then straight via Alpha, November, into the terminal. We're parking right up here. So, let's see if we can actually get a chart for that. I think it's the international, no it's not. Here it is. Okay, pinned and parking up here, Terminal 1, Gate 2. Okay, and that's all there is. Do you have any questions?
Kathy 831, contact
No?
New York Center on
Lovely.
133.15.
That's our approach briefing complete. I have no
Switching to
threats,
New York
nothing
Center on
non-standard,
133.15 and Cathay 831.
nothing special.
Kenya 3, contact New York Center on
Alright.
118.975.
So, that's our briefing.
Over to New York
Well,
Center
we
on
still have 5,000 kilos on the tanks,
118.975.
so we
Kenya 3.
definitely saved a little bit of fuel here. Imagine if we didn't take those extra 1,500 kilos, then we would probably have 3.5 now, which would still be okay, but it's good to have that bit, especially when going into New York. Alright, passing 10,000, lights on, signs on, constraints, LS. And then we've got
Captain, cabin is
GPS
ready.
primary, thanks, and the mode selector is in norm.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now on our
Kathy
final
831,
approach into
contact
New York
Boston
City.
Center on
Please turn off
134.3.
your electronic devices and stow them until
Switching
we
to
arrive at
Boston
the
Center
gate.
on
We kindly ask that you
134.3,
put your
Cathay
tray tables
831.
away and ensure your
Approach
seats
checkers,
are in their
please.
full upright
Barrel
position.
QNH
Also,
3012.
please fasten your
Seatbelts on,
Once we
minimum,
land,
barrel
our
to
Scandinavian
12,
Airlines
auto
staff
brake,
will provide you
low,
with information
engine start
regarding your
selector,
connecting flights.
norm,
Thank you for your
approach check is
cooperation.
complete.
Scandinavian 923, turn right heading 325.
Turn right heading 325, Scandinavian 923. Okay, heading 325. Man, New York just looks so amazing. It's just... I don't know, I mean, all the way to the horizon, it's just city. Of course, this isn't all New York itself, but it's amazing to look at, isn't it? Right, passing 8,000. We gotta lose 5,000 to Rosley. That means 15 miles, plus a little bit to lose our speed, which is basically covered by the headwind. Very nice. So the plane is descending just about perfectly. Alright, apart from that, we've got not all that much to...
Kenya 3, contact Boston Center on 124.525.
So we really don't have all too much to
Switching
do.
to Boston Center
Easy.
on
Very
124.525,
easy
Kenya 3.
Now, I'm calling New York easy over here. I'm sure some people would probably perceive that differently. Okay, TCAS. Was still and above. This is better. Below.
Piedmont 5801, contact Boston Center on 124.525.
Man, incredible to look at. Just incredible to look at.
Scandinavian 923, turn right heading 340.
Right heading 340, Scandinavian 923.
Over to Boston Center on 124.525, Piedmont 5801.
Approaching. Vertical speed. And speed.
Scandinavian 923, proceed direct Rossley. Descend and maintain 3000 until established on the localizer. Cleared for the ILS runway 22 left approach.
Scandinavian 923, direct to Rosley, descend and maintain 3000 until established, cleared ILS 22 left. Descent nav, speed without a box, and we're cleared for the approach. So, India, India, Whiskey, Yankee, does that look right? Yes, it does. Good. Oh, wrong button.
Piedmont 5801, contact
Okay,
New York
Captain
Center
Fuel,
on
118.975.
118.975.
Blue.
Switching to New York Center on 118.975, Piedmont 5801.
Thrust idle. This one has a box again. Interesting. Well, I'm not going to complain.
Kathy 831, contact Montreal Center on 134.4.
Over to Montreal Center on 134.4, Cathay 831.
And that's 1,000 to go. Check. So, 7 hours 34 in the air. I like it. It just feels so incredibly strange on an A321. So not used to this.
American 2372, contact New York Center on 118.975.
But it is an amazing line of
New
thought
York
that
Center on
this airplane is capable
118.9
of
75
accomplishing a
American
flight like this.
2372.
And we even still have reserves. We could have flown a little bit further, like to Washington or so. Okay, Alt Star. So, the Takeoff looks interesting. That guy's probably not an issue, but this one over here... Well, I think he's passing behind us. But this one, if he keeps descending, that'll become interesting. Alt. So we'll just wait and see what's going to happen.
Scandinavian 923, contact Kennedy Tower on 119.1. Scandinavian 923, traffic at your 12 o'clock, 3 miles, at 3500 A330.
Well, that's got to be him. Scandinavian 923, traffic inside, switching to tower, 119.1. Bye-bye. Flaps 1. Speed checked. Flaps 1. Lockstar. Kennedy Tower, Scandinavian 923, ILS 22 left. Last Lockstar.
Scandinavian 923, Kennedy Tower, roger.
Glide slope. So, just gotta remember, on a couple of previous occasions when we flew down this ILS here, the signal vanished at 400 feet, came back at 200 feet.
2,500.
So, by the time we reached 500...
Scandinavian 923, Kennedy Tower, winds 200 at 9er. Runway 22 left, cleared to land.
Runway 22 left, clear to land, Scandinavian 923. Okay, so by 500 I want the flight directors off and the bird on. And now flaps 2. Speed checked. Flaps 2. Hello, Emmanuel here.
Yep, that's the cabin secure for landing.
Thank you.
See you on the ground, bye.
Bye. Lovely. Okay, gear down. And that's how you get distracted, and all of a sudden you gotta lose quite a lot of speed. But I think it should work out just fine. Yeah, that's a good deceleration there. In an A330 we would have been in a problem, but we aren't in an A330 here, so it works fine. Okay, flaps 3. Speed check, flap 3. Ew, what is it diving for? Flaps full. Speed checked, flaps full. Landing checklist, ECAM memo, landing no blue, landing checklist complete. Alright, let's take over. Flight directors off, bird on. Runway track set.
1,000.
That's checked. Yeah, and we are stabilized. It's okay.
Approaching 2 left.
Airline Laces 101, contact departure.
Okay, we're getting into the area where we might lose the ILS signal any moment. But the runway is inside, that's all I need. A little
500.
thermal here. But it's 30 degrees outside, so no surprises.
JetBlue 2204, winds 200 at 10, runway 22 right, cleared to land.
Cleared to land, runway 22 right, JetBlue 2204.
Checked. So this time the ILS held. Interesting.
Minimum.
Continue.
50, 40, 30, 20, retard 10.
Come on. That sound did not match what was happening. Spoilers, reverse green decel. $70 knots.
1,200 meters remaining.
Or is that auto brake? Well, what is it doing now? For some reason,
Scandinavian 923, welcome to Kennedy. Contact ground on
JetBlue 1993, contact New York Center on
1219. Scandinavian 923.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have just landed at John F. Kennedy International Airport. Captain Emmanuel and the whole crew would like to say goodbye to you now.
What is
Please
this?
remain seated until we reach our final parking position.
Artifacts
Did
from
you know
birds.
that New York City is home to the Statue of Liberty, a gift from France? And it's also known as the city that never sleeps.
Kennedy ground, Scandinavian 923, request taxi to Terminal 4, Gate 2. Come on, man.
Scandinavian 923, taxi to Terminal 4, Gate 2 via Juliet, cross runway 4 left, then Kilo Alpha, Hotel, Bravo Bravo. Have a great day.
Terminal 4, Gate 2 via Juliet, cross 2 right, then Kilo Alpha, Hotel Bravo and Bravo, Scandinavian 923. Okay, so just to be sure that we didn't request complete nonsense now. Yeah, of course it doesn't tell me the... We pinned that chart earlier, didn't we? Which one is it? This one. Yeah, and I told him the wrong terminal. Scandinavian 923, request taxi to Terminal 1, Gate 2.
Switching to New York Center on 133.58, American 1466.
Okay, the right side is clear. Why are you still not... Come on.
Scandinavian 923, taxi to Terminal 1, Gate 2 via Juliet Bravo, Juliet Zulu Hotel, cross runway 4 left, then Bravo, November. Have a good day.
Juliet Bravo, Juliet Zulu, Bravo, November to the parking. Scandinavian 923. Okay, there's a plane over there, but we do have clearance to cross, so that's what I'm gonna do.
Scandinavian 923, negative. It's Juliet Bravo, Juliet Zulu Hotel, cross runway 4 left, then Bravo, November. You missed the hotel in your read back.
Oh, that's fine, we can live with it. You should probably not tell a real controller.
Scandinavian 923. Well, I'm glad you're so accommodating. Just remember, I am the one with the taxi clearance magic wand here. Follow the instructions and have a great day.
You too. So I'm just going to deviate slightly from
Scandinavian
this.
923, roger that. Have a good one.
I'm just going to deviate slightly from this because I want to take the routing that the real aircraft actually took on the last flight, and that's straight ahead and then to the right. Slightly different from what ATC wanted, but hey, if they do it, then we are going to do it. Okay, so temperature 30, that means we're going to keep the flaps extended.
Rouge 1636, contact New York Center on 118.9 or 75.
Switching to New York Center on 118.9 or 75 via Rouge 1636.
JetBlue 1993, contact Washington Center
Wow,
on
that's interesting.
121.025.
So, after landing, check this
Over to
please.
Washington Center on 121.025, JetBlue 1993. Delta 2239, contact New York Center on 118.9 or 75.
Okay, so...
Switching to New York Center on 118.9 or 75, Delta 2239.
Come on, open the GSX window.
Avalon 308, contact New York Center on 128.3.
Switching to New York Center on 128.3. Avalo 308.
Brickyard 4513, contact New York Center on
Okay, right on Alpha and
118.975.
then November.
Switching to New York Center on 118.975, Brickyard 4513.
Okay, Terminal 1, Gate 2. And we do not need a
2301, contact New York Center on 118.975.
Over to New York Center on 118.975, United 2301.
Man, what's going on with these guys?
Down Laces 101, contact New York Center on 118.975.
Switching to New York Center on 118.975, Arrow in Laces 101.
Ground JetBlue 2204, taxi to the ramp.
JetBlue 2204, taxi to parking via Kilo 4, cross runway 13 right, then Kilo Alpha Golf,
Okay,
outer
so we
taxiway.
go to the left, and then parking number 2
Kilo
is
4,
just over there.
cross runway 13 right.
Looks
then
like you
Kilo
could put an A380
Alpha
on that
Golf,
one, but
outer
so be
taxiway.
it.
JetBlue 2204.
Okay, APU is available. Elec hydraulic pump on, engine 2 off. So, no marshaller over here. A321 is on the guidance system. Can't see it anywhere on the ground markings, but well, let me just look outside. Okay, judging by the speed at which those numbers move, yeah, now it says meters anyway.
Piedmont 5962, contact New York Center on 118.975.
Over to New York Center on 118.975, Piedmont 5962.
Okay, so APU is on and shut down. Coming through Old Austin Park. Alright. So, both engines running down, and that's looking good. Wonderful. Beacon off. So, let's see. Slides are disarmed.
New York approach, Frontier Flight 4348, 10,000.
Deboarding is already requested. Wonderful.
Radar contact.
So, please give me chocks. No ground power by the looks of it, and we are connecting the jetway. Lovely. Parking checklist, please. Parking brake are chocks. Brake set. Engines off. Wing light off. Fuel pumps off. Parking checklist complete. I don't know why I can't look around
Avalo
anymore.
965, contact New York Center
Something's
on
strange in
133.5.
this sim, but I don't really care. Let's leave that frequency. Here we go. Okay, so transponder 2000 and standby. Then let's check our fuel. So we used 18,790. We should have used look at that, 18,880 plus 200 kilos taxi, so we should have used 19,000. We used 18.8. That is an excellent result. Also, both engines ran somewhat equally. That's nice to see as well. Then let's check the drift of our IRS. This is not very realistic. You would get quite a bit more after a flight like this. But anyway, as long as they run better than they are supposed to, I am fairly happy with it. Cool, so let's shut it down. We'll keep the batteries on because the APU is still running. What's happening with those frame rates? Okay, I tell you what.
Delta
Thank
564,
you
contact
very
New
much
York
for
Center
following
on
along. I hope you enjoyed it.
118.975.
Leave your feedback in the comments below.
Over to
And
New
as
York
always,
Center
if you
on
like Say Intentions, be sure to
118.975.
check that one out as well. And last but not least, if you really love what I'm doing on this channel, I would appreciate a small donation through the Buy Me Coffee link in the video description below. Thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to see you all again on the next one.